just like taking a photograph for how the person is, but we don't have physiological information whether the block is causing a problem. We've been using non-invasive methods, like for example, we use stress test to make the patient walk, and then we see that during exercise we find there are changes in the ECG. Or we do carrier, nuclear imaging, where we see at rest, and then we do exercise, or we give medication and see during the stress the heart becomes more ischemic, which means there is less blood supply to the muscle. But sometimes so sometimes what we find is when you have a clear-cut block above 70%, we clearly send them for a procedure of either a stent or a bypass surgery. But anything below 50%, we definitely keep our medicines. But if you suddenly find something in the borderline region, say 60%, 70%, one problem again we face is, again it's a visual interpretation. For example, to me what it appears to be a 60%, to the other person may appear to be a 70%. It's a visual estimation of narrowing. So there has been something like called QCA, quantitative coronary angiogram, where we estimate based on the computer analysis of the percentage of block. That is another method of estimating the severity of narrowing. Because ultimately the treatment, everything is dependent on the severity of the narrowing. So when the severity of narrowing is less, we don't have to treat them, only treat them with medicines. So now we have a new technology. This has been there for a few years now, but it has been in my practice for the last around 2 years, but it has tremendously impacted our practice. Now in the last few months, I am saying it is almost I'm using it in every alternate patients. It is so useful technology, and the recent publication of data has been strong evidence, and it is now going to replace, in the sense, for every angiogram where there is a borderline or where the severity of narrowing is not able, we are not able to estimate it properly, then this technology called FFR, or fractional flow reserve, is extremely useful. And I will tell you what is FFR. FFR is nothing but pressure, it's physiology. For example, we want to know whether that narrowing is causing less blood flow to the heart muscle. So what we do is, we measure the pressure before the block at the level of the main vessel. Main vessel is the aorta, because the heart blood vessel comes from the aorta. So we check the pressure at the aorta, then we check the pressure after the block, that is distal to the block. So when we check the pressure before and after the block, we can know there is a difference, that is at rest. Then we give some medication to increase the flow to maximum, called maximal hyperemia. So when we give, there are several medicines. Very often we use something called adenosine, because adenosine is a drug which acts very few seconds. So you just give medicine and the action goes up in the body. So there are several ways of giving this drug. One is by giving into the blood vessel, directly injected. The other ways is to give by intravenous infusion, continuous infusion. So when we give continuous infusion, we maintain it for about 2 minutes so that the steady state level is achieved, and then we measure the pressure before and after. The major advantage of this FFR is we can identify whether the block is going to cause physiological significance. And not only that, they also correlate with the outcome. They found that people who have normal FFR or normal pressure, no drop in the pressure, then they live longer without any problem, only with medication, without any procedure. That is the major advantage. Pressure is 1, ideal pressure is approximate pressure is 1, and below the block, how much it drops down. We take a cutoff value of, it has been well established by studies, at 0.75 to 0.8. That means a value of 1, it drops below 0.8. Or below 0.75, we are very sure this is a significant block, a serious block, which needs treatment, either in the form of a stent or in the form of bypass surgery. If the block, if the percentage stenosis, if the FFR drop is above 0.8, then it is only managed with medicines. We don't need any intervention in the form of a stent or in the form of bypass surgery. The value between 0.75 and 0.8 is a grey zone, but still most of the clinicians throughout the world consider any value, a 0.8 is a cutoff. So anything above 0.8, they just leave with medication. That means there is no major drop. If it falls below 0.8, then it means definitely it is going to cause a problem, and to treat the particular vessel. So there are several advantages. What happens is, in my practice, over the last few years, we observed, for example, we have a person who has an angiogram with multiple blocks. This is very common in diabetic particularly. And we find the major vessel, the LED, will have only 50% block or 60% block, whereas other vessel will have a tight 90% block. So these patients earlier were unnecessarily subjected to surgery, and because we identified both the vessels have to be taken care. Now we are very confident that the FFR measures above 0.8, these lesions can be left out with only medication. So only treat the ones which are very tight and leave the rest with medication. And sometimes you find multiple blocks which are not needing any treatment. So these patients are left with only medical management. So I will take some time for a presentation. Before that, I will just tell you, I wanted to actually bring two extreme cases of patients, but I think one could come, the other, the elderly patient couldn't come. But this patient, I saw her about 8 months, 8 months back. She was a diabetic. She was only 39 years old, so diabetic. And she came with chest pain and unstable angina. That means she has a definite chest pain such as for cardiac pain. She's a diabetic. Young diabetics, again, particularly in women, we don't find very common heart disease in women. But in the diabetics, the risk increases several-fold. And particularly young people with diabetic, we have to, the typical chest pain, she underwent an angiogram, and we found ECG was showing changes, so she went underwent an angiogram. It showed a two-vessel block. She had one main vessel at the bifurcating, but one more vessel had a block. So options in her were send her for bypass surgery, or the options were to keep her medically or stenting. So what is required in her? So only the major block, the 99% block, there is one more block. So we did the FFR for her 8 months back, and we found that the circumflex artery which had a narrowing about 50-60%, and the FFR value was not significant. So she was left with medication, and only the LED or the main block was to stent. She received one stent instead of bypass surgery. So it has a tremendous impact in her life because she is a very young patient. You subject her to bypass surgery, and it is going to cause long-term problems because the stent is going to continue. She can continue with medication and stent for a long time, and then later on, when age increases, if the disease progresses, the options are plenty, and other options can be considered like bypass surgery. So she is here today. She's had one stent. She's had stent to one vessel 8 months back, and the other vessel was left without any treatment and on medications alone, and she's doing well. Have an intermediate kind of a block. Always, like for example, 60 to 70. I mean, it's not very tight, nor it is very not very.
முடியாது, ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருந்துச்சு. அதனால ஒரு ப்ரீத் பண்ண கூட ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டேன். ரொம்ப ஒரு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃப்ளோர் கூட ஏறி என்னால் ப்ரீத் பண்ண முடியாது. அதனால சார் எங்கள் ஹஸ்பண்ட் சொன்னார், போய் கார்டியாலஜிஸ்ட் பார்க்கலாம், ஏதோ ப்ராப்ளம் அதுக்கு பார்க்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. சார் போய் பார்த்தோம். சார் சில டெஸ்ட்டெல்லாம் எடுக்க சொன்னாங்க. எடுத்தா த்ரெட்மில் டெஸ்ட் பண்ணும்போது 2 மினிட்ஸ் கூட என்னால் தொடர்ந்து வாக் பண்ண முடியல. அப்படியே ப்ரீத் பண்ண முடியாமல் அப்படியே ஒரு மாதிரி ஸ்வெட்டிங் ஆயிடுச்சு உடம்பெல்லாம். சார் அதில் தான் வந்து ஆஞ்சியோகிராம் பண்ணி பார்க்கலாம், ஏதாவது இருக்கா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு சொன்னாங்க. அதில் பண்ணி பார்க்கும்போது தான் 2 பிளாக் இருக்குமா அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. அப்புறம் அதுக்கு மேலே வந்து ஸ்டாண்டு வச்சாங்க. இப்போ நல்லா நார்மலாக என்னால் எல்லாமே செய்ய முடியுது. வாக்கிங்லாம் நல்லா போக முடியுது. நல்லா ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக என் பசங்களோட நான் ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக நல்லா நடக்க ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டேன். என் பசங்க வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்லோ ஆகிட்டாங்க. இப்போது நல்லா உடம்பு நல்லா ஆரோக்கியமாக இருக்குது. என்ன பிரச்சனையும் இல்லை. மெடிசன்ஸும் கண்டினியூவாக எடுத்துகிட்டு இருக்கேன். இன்னும் ப்ராப்ளம் எல்லாம் நல்லாயிருக்கு. 2012 கண்டினியூஸாக இப்போ மெடிசன்ஸில் இருக்குது. அந்த ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரென்த் வச்சதால என்ன ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை. ஆனால் நல்லா வாக் பண்ண முடியுது. எல்லா பிரச்சனை இல்லாமல் ஸ்டெப்ஸ்லாம் ஏற முடியுது. நல்லாவே பிரச்சனை இல்லாமல் இருக்குது. ஃபஸ்ட் ஃப்ளோர் கூட என்னால் ஏற முடியாது. ரொம்ப முன்னாடி 8 மந்த்ஸ் முன்னாடி என்னால் ஃபஸ்ட் ஃப்ளோர் கூட வந்து நான் கொஞ்சம் கூட நடக்கவே முடியாது. போயிட்டு வந்தோடனே அப்படியே ஒரு மாதிரி அடைக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஸ்வெட்டிங்கு அப்படியே ஒரு மாதிரி அடக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும் நம்மளால். 5 மினிட்ஸ் அப்புறம் தான் என்னால் வந்து சரியாக பண்ண முடியும் இது ஒன்றுமே. அது மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு. இப்போ கொஞ்சம் நல்லாவே நார்மலாக இருக்குது. இப்போ கொஞ்சம் இல்லை, நல்லாவே நார்மலாக இருக்கேன். எந்த ப்ராப்ளமும் இல்லை.
The pink lines are aortic pressure and the blue line are the distal pressure. So this is taken as 1 and this is taken as the difference between this is considered. So here the FFR value is given as 0.67. That means it's highly significant and this patient needs a procedure. We had one more lady who was an elderly lady who had a similar kind of chest pain with resolution. She had ECG changes, so she was subjected to angiogram elsewhere and she was suggested for one stenting. That was about 2 years back. So she was on, then she didn't undergo, she was on medical management with medicines. After that we repeated an angiogram. We found multiple blocks in all 3 vessels. And all the vessels were borderline blocks, so 60 to 70% blocks. So this lady underwent FFR for all 3 vessels, and all the 3 vessels showed FFR value of 0.8 or above. That means 0.8, 0.91 and 1. So this lady was kept only on medication and was not suggested bypass surgery, and she is doing very well. Why I want to highlight this is, in fact, for that lady, the insurance company even initially rejected the FFR. For bypass surgery they would have given, but for a FFR it is not expensive. It costs around 25,000. So with the FFR new FFR technology, we sometimes even reuse it when the cost can bring it down further. So for this lady, we had to write number of letters and give a lot of scientific evidence. Then now in the US, for example, it has become mandatory now to have, if you have a borderline lesion, they ask for FFR values before reimbursement. So such a value they give to FFR value. So in our country it is just coming up and it is slowly catching up, and now many other hospitals have started using it, and now it has become almost routine, and it is extremely, I am finding it extremely useful. So even yesterday I had a doctor's mother. She is still in the hospital. She is a 60-year-old lady who is a diabetic with again she had 3 vessel block. And we did one vessel had only a borderline block, and we went FFR, it was 0.91, and then so above 0.8 don't have to be treated, so we left it and we treated the other vessel with a stent, and she's getting discharged tomorrow. So it's such a very useful. Another major thing is we are able to save costs in that we are able to reduce the number of stents required. For example, we find 2 blocks in one vessel. Earlier we used to clear all the blocks with multiple stents. Now when we put a FFR wire and then we treat the block which is very tight and remeasure the FFR, and if FFR becomes above 0.8, then we leave without any treatment. We just leave this with medical management. So it is useful in several ways. In serial lesions, multiple blocks in same vessel, or we have also avoided bypass surgery in many cases. More than that, in 10% of in our practice, approximately in about 10%, we have also found blocks which are around 60%. We probably thought we leave with medicines, and FFR has shown significance. And even that is also the opposite. Where we thought was medicine would be sufficient, the FFR showed significance in 10%, and these patients underwent stenting, and they do well. The most important landmark trial is something called a FAME trial. Two trials, FAME 1, FAME 2. The FAME 2 trial was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, and that trial was a landmark trial which changed our practice. What it showed was they compared FFR, using FFR and optimal medical therapy. We decided whether which patient requires a stent and which patient does not require a stent based on the FFR. And they found that in the group where FFR was used, there was tremendous benefit. And the safety monitoring board told to stop the study because there was another group without FFR. So those patients did not do well. So the safety monitoring group said the study has to be stopped prematurely because the group which did not have FFR did worse, and so the study should be stopped. So there was overwhelming benefit in the group which FFR was used. So the data was very strong. And in cath lab, it has become a routine practice. It is a very simple tool, unlike a big invasive procedure. During the procedure, it's easily available, and it can be used whenever we require. It can be easily available and easily used, and the patient need not go for a elaborate non-invasive testing like stress thallium. And it takes about 5 minutes for me to do the procedure. And most importantly, it saves costs. We save costs because unnecessary stents or unnecessary procedure can be avoided. So it and identification of borderline blocks, we save lives. So it saves costs and saves lives. So these are the major advantage in patient care. So I think that is the focus of what I want to tell you. If you want to ask any further questions, I can discuss it. I only have some photographs which I want to show it to you. Unfortunately, there's some problem in the computer, but we can always talk, and meanwhile the computer opens, I can show you the photographs. Number of blocks we have. Suppose we have 3 blocks, 3 vessel block. Then if we find a vessel which has got very tight block, we generally don't do FFR. We know that needs to be treated, for example, 90% block. We don't have to measure FFR for all the blocks. Only where we find the blocks are borderline, where we are not able to estimate it is so severe or not severe. So above 90%, where we are very sure it is significant, we don't do. Or we find very minor blocks like 30%, 20%, where we know that it is not significant, then we don't do. Only those patients who have a borderline of FFR, we do. So 3 vessel, wherever there are minor blocks or major blocks, we take it out. The borderline blocks, we check the FFR. So for the minor blocks, we know we don't have to do anything. For the major blocks alone, we treat, and the borderline blocks are left, depending on the FFR. I don't know whether this is actually not a separate procedure. It is a part of the angiogram and angioplasty. Now, normally, as you know, during angioplasty, we pass a wire and then a balloon and open the vessel. Similar to that, this is a FFR is a wire. It's a pressure wire. Same, it's 0.014 inch. The wire thickness is 0.14 inch, and this has got a small pressure transducer at the tip of the wire. And so you pass the wire in the block, and the pressure transducer will measure the pressure before and after. So it is during the procedure we do it. So it takes hardly another 5 to 10 minutes more, and just like a routine angiogram or angioplasty, the patients are discharged. So it's not a separate procedure, it's a part of the procedure when we want to decide. It gives us more physiological, valuable information. Do you have any questions, Sujata? The write-up, did you read through? It's about 35% of them were kept on only medicines after doing FFR. About 35% only kept them, and another 35% the number of stents came down, and about 10% needed a procedure where we thought it may not be required. It needed a procedure, and another 20% actually went from bypass surgery to angioplasty. Instead of bypass surgery, they were subjected to, because based on angiogram, they thought of bypass surgery, like for example for her, and the FFR gave us a decision of angioplasty.